What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Locker Room to Boardroom, the podcast. We are so excited for this week. It's been a few weeks, so it's good to get back on here and got very excited about our guest today, very excited about our conversation. With me, as always, is Mike, so I'm going to kick it to him. Mike's got the intro for the hype team today.
Right on. Thank you all for watching. We're very excited about this guest and every guest we have on. But today is a local CSU former student. So get into a little bit of an intro and can't wait to have this conversation and learn more about Joe. Today's guest is Joe. Joe's a Colorado native, former Division I football player at CSU. He played tight end there, special teams for the Rams. His playing career, after his playing career, Joe stayed in the world of athletics and performance, serving as a graduate assistant strength coach at CSU while earning his master's degree. So he's super educated in his field. Today, he's the director of sports at probably the best gym in the state of Colorado, Pursuit Training in Windsor, Colorado, where he trains athletes of all ages, from youth athletes to college players, helping them get faster, stronger, more resilient. Joe has built a reputation in Northern Colorado for developing athletes and teaching the habits and mindsets to translate to the weight room to life. So we're excited about Joe being here. I also want to note my daughter, 11-year-old daughter, trains at his gym. So obviously I trust him with my family members. So for what that's worth, Joe, that's an endorsement from our family to you. So excited for you
Well,
to be
thank
here.
you.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
Right
Oh
on.
man, we're always excited. These are fun conversations, and it's always good to hear some stories and learn about individuals. And you got a great story. So, typically, how we like to always start these off is tell us a little bit about growing up. What'd you like to do for fun? How'd you grow up? Where'd you grow up? How was it kind of getting introduced to sports and competing?
Yeah. Yeah. So I grew up super small town of Akron, Colorado. So I grew up out on a farm. So I was always working up early doing chores. In a small town like that, there's not really a whole lot to do except play with your friends and work. So that's what
How
I
many
did.
acres? How many acres?
We had a little over 20 where I grew up, and then we ran cattle all over. So, I mean, we had
Oh man,
pastures.
I
Um,
like the cattle.
but
How
so I
many how
kind of
many head
lived
of cattle?
in the, I mean, it depended on what time. Sometimes we'd have 20, sometimes we'd have 200. So it just depended on time of year where we were at. So, always, it was a fun way to grow up. I mean, at the time, I don't think you like it as much as a kid because you're having to be up early and work and do chores. But I think I'm thankful for it now because it kind of gave me the tools I have now. Um, but yeah, super small community. So it was pretty much do that and play sports. So I grew up playing all sports, football, basketball, baseball, wrestled, pretty much the ones that the small town would have. We didn't have things like soccer or lacrosse there. So I really didn't get into those until like my coaching career after I had left CSU learn more about those sports. But played all the sports, liked all of them, but kind of was drawn towards football. And then was grateful enough, was a part of a very successful high school football team there, and then went on to play at Colorado State. And I walked on there, but was able to earn a scholarship. I think any small school kid, it's hard to get recruited. Not using that as an excuse, but you're not getting um, a bunch of coaches coming out 2 hours away from Denver to watch a 1A football game. So you don't get a
Oh
lot of
man.
eyes on you at that point, and had the opportunity, had some offers to go to a couple D2 schools like RMAC schools here in Colorado. But at the end of the day, I knew I had the ability to play D1 and kind of wanted to go prove myself there and kind of had that chip on my shoulder. I think like any walk-on does, but was able to do it.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And so growing up, in a town like that, I mean, was everything through the school? I mean, how was it kind of getting introduced to like organized sports at the youth side?
Yeah. Yeah, so there was like we didn't really we had a rec department in Akron, but it had like baseball and some of some basketball, but our main stuff we had to go to Sterling for it, like for
Okay.
football, for the basketball leagues. Because I mean, there wasn't enough kids to field multiple
Yeah, that was going
teams
to be my
in
next question is
Akron.
what was travel
Um,
like?
yeah, it was like most of the time we went to Sterling for everything. So it was like 30 minutes, not too
Okay.
bad, but it was awesome because the same kids that I started I started tackle football in third grade, and I played with those same kids all the way through 12th grade. So it was kind of like we had a great camaraderie and great relationships to where we were able to be successful. And I think that helped us in the long run, where it's not like clubs now where you kind of bounce all over and you're playing with different kids. We didn't know it at the time, but we were essentially started as third graders as feeder teams for our high school.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know now it seems like a lot of the athletic side has become a lot more individualistic, right? Even from the youth age. And we were joking about this a few weeks ago that we're seeing, Instagram announcements of transfer portal for 9U flag football. Or what was that one,
Yeah.
Mike? It was,
Yeah, tackle football. So it's pretty serious stuff. Transfer
Yeah.
portal for switching your little league, 95-pound son.
yeah. Oh,
It's
I know.
wild.
Yeah. So it's good to have that experience growing up with the team side and the camaraderie and getting after it with your buddies. And so, with that, when did you play all those sports all the way through your senior year of high school, or was there a point in time when you kind of started to drop some of those sports going through?
No, I played them all. I played all the way through high school, football, basketball, baseball. And then
Oh,
I
wow.
started wrestling first. I think I started wrestling like kindergarten. But then came to that point in high school where wrestling and basketball are at the same time. So
Yep.
I thought about trying both, but I knew that it was going to be pretty tough to do. So ended up choosing basketball, which was hard because I loved wrestling too. I had been successful at it, and my football coach was also the wrestling coach. So he was like in a good way in my ear about it. But ended up playing basketball. So
Yeah. Oh man.
still
Yeah.
love it all. Still love wrestling. It was a hard decision.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's awesome. And so when you were growing up, I mean, how was it? How did you get introduced to the training side of things?
It was probably from my high school football coach. Is it started going in middle school, and we had this thing where it was everybody went into the weight room, high schoolers, middle schoolers, and he opened the weight room, and we had a program there. I think early on it was like if you remember the bigger, faster, stronger programs, it was some
Yep.
of that.
Yeah.
But it was just the early intro to it and making it available to us. And with him, I think anybody who knows football or knows high school football. His name is Brian Christensen. Like he's in the Hall of Fame. Awesome guy, awesome coach, better person. And he just I feel like he kind of started that love of it for me. Like he came up to the gym probably about a month ago and I was walking him around our gym for the first time and it was like, hey, this started with you.
Wow.
So was kind of able to say thank you because this started with him. And I remember him telling me like, hey, if you want to be able to be successful in sports, you got to learn to live in here. So that's where got a love for training and kind of had that throughout high school. And then I got to CSU and like every high school athlete, you want to go play in the NFL and you think you're the man. And I get to Division I football team and I'm like, dang, I'm not as good as I thought I was. I'm a little closer to average than elite. That's where I kind of
Oh,
like fell
it's
in love, but I was able to excel in the weight room. I still wasn't the strongest guy, but I was able to push just right along everybody else. And I found that
yeah.
I enjoyed that aspect. So maybe I found a love for the weight room and a love for training, because I found that maybe I didn't have as long of a career in football as I thought. So it was just kind of,
Yeah.
all right, I'm going to go to the next thing.
Oh man, that's awesome. That had to be such a cool moment for both of you guys going through the gym a month ago when he came up. That's fantastic, man. And so yeah, so how was it,
Yeah.
obviously going from walking on at CSU, getting there your freshman year. I mean, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but especially coming from, a smaller town, kind of how you grew up. How was it really from the mental side, like stepping in freshman year, kind of your first few weeks or months on campus?
Yeah. It was a shock. It was chaos. I mean, like my high school was just over 100 kids, and the first class I walked into of my freshman year had over 400 just in the
Yeah.
class. So I was like, holy smokes. I had to sit at the front, otherwise I was just going to get stuck people watching. So it was a big shock and it was a big transition for me, which I knew it was going to be going into it, but it was kind of a challenge that I wanted to take on and I knew I could figure out. going from a small town kid and being able to go to being on a team that had, I mean, a college football team at that time, it had more than 100 kids on it. So
Hmm.
my team was the size of my whole high school, if not a
That's
little
wild.
bigger. So it was a big shock, but it was fun. I mean, because I was able to make friends with people who, I mean, it was normal to them, and I just kind of attached to them, and like they helped me get used to that structure.
That's
Oh man,
wild
absolutely.
that's wild that the team had more players than you had students at your school.
Yeah.
And so, well, quick question: why did you pick CSU? And were you considering other schools? Did it come? Was it like you knew if you had that opportunity to go to CSU, you wanted to go there, or was there
Yeah,
anything that drew you?
yeah, there was some opportunities where I had some money or some scholarship opportunities to go to some D2 schools, like a lot of the RMAC schools in the area. But it was kind of down to being able to be a preferred walk-on at either CSU or Wyoming.
Okay,
And it just kind of came down to, I feel like I picked CSU because they were the ones who offered me the preferred walk-on. I had a walk-on position at Wyoming as well, because the guy who was coaching there and recruiting that area knew my high school coach. So kind of had a relationship there, and then ended up just choosing CSU. Um, I maybe because it was just in Colorado, a little closer. Early in high school, I thought I wanted to go out of state, but as I got further and further, I'm like, man, I want to be able to be close to home and close to family. So honestly, I can't really tell you what made me decide on CSU. Maybe just because they offered me a preferred walk-on spot first.
yeah,
So
that's fair.
I attached onto there, and I had gone to those camps for a few years, so I was
Okay,
kind of I knew the campus a little bit.
heck yeah.
Yeah, right on, man. That's awesome. And so how was it, did you when you got there, I mean, did you feel any different from the mental side versus the scholarship kids? How was that kind of mentality? Were you treated any differently? I mean, how was that kind of coming on campus in that walk-on role?
I don't think I was treated any differently. I had like I said, a chip on my shoulder going in because I knew like, all right, I got to go in and earn it. I'm not like one of these scholarship kids who are, not to say, for lack of a better term, given the opportunity because they all worked for it too. But
Sure.
I don't think I was treated any differently. There's things where if you're a walk-on kid, if they're bringing like meals after practice, where they're only bringing meals to the scholarship guys. Because with the football, it's all or nothing. You're on a full ride and you're getting everything paid
Yeah.
for, or you're getting nothing. So like us walk-on guys, we would have to walk right by that meal table, and they've got like boxes of Texas Roadhouse. But I remember
Oh
like,
man.
um, but no, like it's cool because I was sitting there one day after practice, and one of the older guys, like a guy who I kind of looked up to, he walked in and just handed me his dinner. He's like, "I don't want this. You want it?" I was like, "Heck yeah, I want it." And he's like, "Hey," and he said, he was like, "You worked just as hard as I did. You deserve this too." So that was a pretty freaking sweet moment for me of like I didn't feel like I was an outcast, I guess. And I
Yeah.
didn't feel like I was an outcast anyways, but I was like, man, I'm part of the team too, even though I'm
No,
not getting my school paid for. These guys view me as just as important as anybody else. And
no
like
doubt.
from the teammate standpoint. So I mean, I still
Yeah.
remember it today, 15 some years later, 15, 20 years later. So it was pretty impactful for that
Yeah,
upperclassman to be like, hey man, you're working just like us. Eat this.
no doubt.
Yeah, dude, good for you. That's crazy. It's funny. It's not funny. It's how different just the landscape is now
Oh
with
yeah.
everything that's going on in collegiate athletics, and it just reminiscent on some stories like that. I remember all those meetings about, don't let anybody buy you a Subway sandwich or cheap things or where'd you get that $20 from or
Yeah.
whatever it was, right? And now obviously things are vastly different, but that's a
Yeah. I
that's a
remember the football operations guy when during camp or if we had early morning stuff, we'd come into the weight room or the locker room and then be a table full of bagels there. But no cream cheese, no peanut butter, no jelly, just dry plain bagels. Because the NCAA said you couldn't give them anything, you couldn't give them condiments. And so I
Wow.
remember it changed one day. We walked in and there was like cream cheese, and we asked him like, "Hey, what's going on?" They said, "Hey, NCAA said we can give it now." I was like, man, how far have we gone to where it's like you
Fancy.
peanut butter and now it's
Oh man, you make them
NIL and all
soft. You
that.
you can't have those add-ons, man. You're getting
Yeah.
spoiled with cream cheese or
But
peanut
it
butter or
was I
something.
remember it being a big deal. He's like, man, we get peanut butter on our bagel now.
Upgraded. Upgraded. Joe, when you got there and you started practicing, so football, and Jake's talked about this on different podcasts. Football's a little unique because you jump into two a days and then you're straight into school, right? So
Hmm.
there's like a fast transition into one. Wow, I'm playing with some phenomenal athletes, right? So I'm mentally trying to adjust to that setting, and then you start school right away. So for me,
Yeah.
I could have done better my first semester of football. I was just like, wow, there's a lot going on. I put it like that.
Yep.
So when you stepped into practice, did you feel? I know you had the chip on the shoulder, right? Which I feel is like a common thread between the people that we speak to as well. But when you got in, did you feel like you belonged? Did you feel like you could belong if you worked hard enough? What was your inner dialogue when you started that process of practicing with the team?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought I belonged. I
Yeah,
think that's why that was my motivation to go there was
right
because
there.
I knew I could do it. I knew I had the ability to do it. I just had to go out and showcase it.
Love
So
it.
it's like and there was like a time I was like, dang, this is way different than high school football. Like I knew it was going to be harder. I knew the guys were going to be bigger. They were going to be faster. So I went in and I was like, I knew I had to work to get to a point where I could even play. So
Yeah.
it was a year, and my situation was a little different because I got hurt my senior year of high school, and I still wasn't released come that fall.
Oh,
So
really?
I didn't walk on until January because I had to have another surgery in October of my freshman year. So my first semester of school, I actually wasn't even on the team. I still went out all the
Okay.
time. I would just go probably once a week and go out and
Yeah.
watch practice, but I still didn't know any of the guys at that time.
Yeah.
I would just go out and watch just because I knew that that was going to be my next semester, being able to go on and be part of the team.
Wow. Were you able to rehab with the team, or you had to do it
Mm-mm.
independently?
No, no,
Did you?
because I was a walk on. I had to do it individually, my
Wow.
rehab. Yep.
Wow. That's impressive. That's
Yeah.
impressive to do that
It
by
was a
yourself.
process.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
did you navigate that process? That's
I
a
just remember
crazy
like went to
start
like
to your college career.
yeah, yep. So I kind of had a crazy like broke a leg my sophomore year of high school, broke both legs my senior year of high school, the first game and the eighth game.
Oh,
That one, the eighth game, it was like your horse collar tackle, leg snaps in half, surgery
ooh.
the next day, all that stuff. And I
Oh
still just
man.
come that fall, I wasn't able to run. I was still like limping when I ran, so I had to have another surgery where they went in and modified some of the hardware. And then that was October. So from there to it was like 2.5 months, I had to get ready to go walk on in January. But I was
Dude,
doing
that's
rehab,
crazy.
rehab on my own, not on my own, but I'd go to the rec center or I would go, there was a place in Fort Collins. I went to go do my rehab, just like a PT place.
And
But
so during oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, so that was like my first semester. A lot of it was just getting back to getting in shape and getting used to running and everything again.
And so on this podcast, again, similarities. At some point, if you're an athlete, if you're listening, I was talking to a family recently about this. If you're an athlete, especially if you want to play through college, unfortunately, at some point there will be some injury. Hopefully, it's minor. It's never
Hmm.
serious like your injury. Your injury sounds like very, very serious. But if it happens, take us through your mindset of getting back. Was there ever a point when you did that where you're like, man, I don't know, like I don't want to play
Yeah.
anymore, or even I'm scared, I'm nervous or scared to play because there's a mental side of rehab too, and getting back
Yeah.
out there and trusting your body.
Yeah. And I don't think it was I never had doubts about wanting to play again. Like I
Okay,
knew that I was going to be able to rehab it. I don't think I knew it was just maybe I was ignorant to how hard it was going to be.
sure.
Or I might have thought twice, but I knew I wanted to play again and I knew I could do it. So it was just kind of like, all right, what are the next steps that I need to take in order to get there? And I had a great support system around me. And that's why like that first game of my senior year broke it. And I only sat out for I think 3 games and came back and we put a big old like splint and cast on it. So I was playing with a broken, it was the fibula, so not the big like weight bearing bone, but it didn't
Hmm.
feel good. But I was trying to earn a scholarship to go somewhere. And then it was my first full game back playing both offense and defense. Because when I came back, I just was playing defense. So it was my first full game back playing on offense that that one happened. And you look back and I know like you kick yourself of like, well, maybe we shouldn't have pushed it so hard. And maybe like I know my dad kind of kicked himself sometimes because he knew what I wanted to do. And he was that like in a very good way, a positive way, pushing me to get back because he knew I wanted to do it.
Right.
So I think he kind of not regretted, but was hard on himself of like, man, I shouldn't have pushed him so hard. But I never
Sure.
had those thoughts. Like I was like, no, this is exactly what I want to do. And sometimes you need that little push to go
Right.
do it. So I
Right.
never had doubts of playing again. I just didn't know what that route was going to look like. But yeah,
Yeah. That's
it was definitely a mental and emotional roller coaster. Like I can remember after the surgery being in pain and going through the rehab process and everything that that looked like. And it's hard. I think that rehab for athletes is just as hard mentally as it is physically
yeah.
going through all of that and then being confident in it when you get back. Like mine
Absolutely.
was a bone, so it's like the bone heals and there's still hardware in there. Bone heals, usually you're good to go. But kids
Sure.
are like ligament, like ACL, MC or ACL and Achilles, those are big mental barriers.
Yep. Yep. Was any of that rehab process, did any of that play into your career? What you're doing now or was it you were kind of going down that route regardless?
Yeah, I think I was going down that route anyways. I knew
Yeah.
like when going into high school, I wanted to go something into like the sports medicine or the sports training
Yeah.
field. Yep.
Yep.
I probably from like a sophomore or junior in high school, I knew that that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to do. Up until then, I wanted to go to vet school. I wanted to be
Really?
a vet, and then as I got
Because
into
you're around animals.
yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
that makes sense.
yep,
And
Yeah.
yeah, we got I get we've asked about you because you know we have a lot of members in locker room, the boardroom from CSU and football players, and so what's been consistent is their people's when they explain and how they saw you, like when they saw you working out at CSU, how they just knew that you would be involved in sports, conditioning, agility, speed training at some level. They just said that your like attention to detail, right, right, and focus in the weight room. They just knew. So it sounds like it was just in you. You just knew, and that's nice because a lot of people shoot, they're still trying to figure it out throughout life, and
yeah,
it sounds like you kind of were on your path kind of early.
yeah, yeah. I think I fell in love with the process of training because it's not like you get there and you're done. Like it's like, all right, what's the
Yeah.
next thing? Like it's a for lack of a better term, journey where it's like you're never done getting better.
Never. So I talked to my daughter. We're having these sports conversations, and so she trains at your gym, right? And so you know y'all test the speed, and you can get your name up on the, you know, name if
Yep.
you run a certain. And so she ran the first time. And the next class, she didn't get the speed that she wanted, and she was upset. I'm like, baby, this is a process.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is a on. And so what you just said, you fell in love or you just like the process. That's what I'm encouraging to all athletes. If you fall in love with the process, you're going to end up in a good place. And so what
Yeah.
Joe said and how he thinks about training is a major key. Is a major key.
Yeah,
So
you're gonna have like, especially with speed training, like it'd be sweet if you could, but you're not gonna PR every day.
right,
Most days you're gonna be running slower than your PR. And so that's
right.
a mental battle of you just gotta keep showing up. And then one day you're gonna hit a PR. And then where you sit is gonna be a little faster. And then you're gonna hit another PR. And then your normal daily where you sit is gonna be a little faster. So it's just a process over time. I mean, my job would be easy if you just came in week after week, you PR'd every time, but it
Yeah.
doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
Oh, I know
elite,
that
elite,
would be
elite
nice, man.
training.
That's how I feel about my golf game. I know that there's some point when I'm going to shoot my best score ever, and then it's all downhill from there, right? But
Yeah.
no, that's awesome, man. And so, talk to us a little bit about so when you came back in. I mean, how did your that January coming after or off the surgery, the rehab, all that stuff? I mean, how did your college career kind of progress from that point?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was at first I was just trying to drink through a fire hose as far as like the installs and seeing all the different plays because I was on the offense. So originally I was going to go in as a linebacker and then I went in as like a fullback and then got transitioned to like a hybrid fullback tight end. But it was as much mental as anything. Like I tell kids all the time, you're going to install more in 1 week than you did your whole high school career because there's going to be so many different formations and plays and even cadences you have to go through. So that was a big part of it. And then as far as playing, it was just same thing over time, getting up to speed. At first, I was kind of probably in over my head, but I knew if I just, the only way to lose is give up. So I knew if I just kept showing up day after day, then my time would come. So the first year, like I walked on that January, spent all that spring on scout team, spent most of the next fall on scout team as well. Like my redshirt freshman year, I wasn't traveling. So I was staying home, which sucked because that was a year where I was eligible to travel, but I didn't make the travel squad. So I was like, I wasn't on the road, I wasn't getting on the plane. And I know from like in hindsight, I was like, well, yeah, that's because you were a walk on. That's why not. But in my head at the time, I was like, man, I deserve a spot on there. So I just kept working at it and then um, started getting on through special teams, which is like anytime younger guys I see going into college football, like know every single special teams position on the field because that's what I feel like got me on. I was a pretty smart guy. Like I knew at all times what to do, whether what my ability to do it was there or not, but I knew what I needed to do. So like I knew, like we talked about before we got on, was like the gunners. Like I was not a
Mhm.
gunner by any means. That's like your receivers, your corners, but I knew their job. So I knew every position. So if it was in practice, it was like, hey, we need a L3 on punt. I would just go running in. And they most of the time they'd be like, no, 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 get out, get somebody else in. Like, let's get a faster guy. But I just kept doing it. And then my tight ends coach, I think it was my redshirt sophomore year, he was also the special teams coordinator. And he knew that I knew everything. And he vouched for me a lot of the time. He's like, hey, Joe knows it. And we had a game, it was at Boise, where one of the guys he kept missing his assignment. And it was like the gunner or like the outside guy who's usually a faster guy, and he just came to the sideline. He said, "Do you know what to do on?" It was like Roger L4 punt or whatever it was, and I told him, "Yeah," and he put me in. And first play, I went down and caused a fumble.
Hey
So
now,
like,
let's
Man, that's
go.
yeah, so
awesome.
that was like
Hey
the, and
now.
I had been on kickoff and kick return before that, but that was the point of like, okay, we can trust this guy. He's not
Right.
the fastest guy out there. He's not going to be the flashiest, but we can trust him to be all reliable. Like he'll get the job. It might not be pretty, but he'll get the job done. So that's where I
Yeah.
talk about a lot of the times. It's just like I was always ready. And more times than not, I'd run out onto the field and I'd get sent back off because they're like, no, 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 let's get somebody else out there. But when my opportunity came, I feel like I was able to take advantage of it.
Oh man, that's awesome. There's so much to be said
Yeah.
about those intangibles with any sport, right? I just know that we harped on that a lot in the baseball world of, your baseball IQ. There's a game within the game, right? There's
Yeah.
obviously all the things that you're trying to do, and a lot of times it's one of the biggest things that gets overlooked, and maybe it's pride, maybe it's ego, right? A lot of times these athletes, I know I thought, sometimes, no, I'm good. I'll just figure it out. Or, I can just go out there and be bigger, stronger, faster than everybody. And it's like there's a lot to be said about the game within the game, football IQ,
Yeah.
understanding those kind of things, because that's an awesome testament to that.
Yeah. And I think that's where I maybe excelled was more the mental part because like I said, at first I was in over my head, but I was able to learn the offense and know all of it. Um, and then just like the mental side of like, I'm just gonna, through sheer will, be able to do it. Because even like when we were running conditioning in sprints, by no means was I the fastest guy, but I expected to be first in my group. So it's like that. Even if there's that faster guy, I'm going to beat you every time in conditioning. So there was that mental side I feel like I excelled in too.
Oh, that's phenomenal, man. And that's something that's pushing your teammates to be better. And that's if everybody's
Yeah.
doing that, that team's gonna go a lot farther than teams that are not doing that, right? So then you
And
started to get in the field. I mean, where was like the coolest place you got to play? What were some good highlights of you on the field?
coolest place got to play. I mean, we would play down, I forget what is it, Empower now? I think it was
Hmm.
Invesco or Sports Authority at the time.
It's
We
it's
would
mile
always play.
high,
Yep.
it's mile high.
Yep. So we'd play down there. My senior year played at Bama. Played Bama at Bama. TCU. I remember that was like my intro to like welcome to college football because I think it was my that first year I was traveling, we went to my first away game. That was like a plane trip was to TCU. And I
Ooh,
remember
that's a
I
good
was
one.
on punt return and going to punt block, and the dudes I ran into were just it was like your old school like shield punt with
Uh,
massive dudes and just running full head of steam and run into a brick wall. And it was kind of like, welcome to college football. Like,
Big
welcome to the
time.
big leagues. Um, but yeah, so TCU, Bama was a really cool place. My most memorable game was probably my last game. Like, I had the storybook ending. It was the 2013 New Mexico Bowl. We were playing Washington State and I think we were down by 13 with 2 minutes left and came back and won. Like, kicked a field goal as time expired to win. So that
oh,
was
that's
like,
awesome.
they were dancing on the sideline like they had won. And like back, I think that was when Mike Leach was there.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it was pretty sweet to go in and end your college career like that. We were the definite underdogs, and like I said, we were losing, and came back, caused a few fumbles, and offense was able to go in and score. And then just being able to play, like, I had a pretty awesome group of teammates. Like, my friend group in college and my roommates were way better at football than I was. Great people, great football players, like good friends. I had two of my roommates get drafted in the second round on the same night. So just being able to be around guys like that and play against other guys in my class who went on to play and have good like NFL careers, not just like get their feet wet, but go have NFL careers. Being able to play against those guys every day was pretty awesome. Like
Oh man.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I went against Shaq Barrett every day in practice. Like, and he was won a Super Bowl with Tampa, won a Super Bowl with Denver, uh,
Yeah.
Pro Bowler, like the man. Went against him,
Yeah,
and it
beast.
it was freaking hard, but
Oof.
I got better because of it.
Oof. Yeah, that's good talent right there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh man, that's phenomenal. So how was it, in some of those, you mentioned the underdog side in that New Mexico Bowl and, with Bama and some of those schools. I mean, how was it from the team element, the preparation side, the mental side? How was it kind of preparing to go into some of those environments?
and it's play to win. Like it's always, and I think like my family talked about like, oh, the fans at Bama were so nice. It's because they're like, oh yeah, thanks for coming down. We're gonna put up 60 on you guys. But we played them really well, and it's like
Yep.
everybody asked, like, were they playing their starters? Yes, they were playing their starters. I don't think they had a first down until or the fourth quarter. Like our
Yeah.
defense just played lights out on them, and we were kind of moving the ball, and then they went on a stretch and they had an interception, scored, pump block, scored, and they just had like a 3 minute run. But it was always like play to win. That's the purpose of the game. You prepare like you plan to win the game. If you go in like, we know it's a long shot. These guys are probably going to beat us. We probably won't win. It's like, why even play the game then? If you know they're going to
Yeah.
win, don't pay the money to go down and get on the plane. So it's just
Yeah.
prepare and play to win always.
Oh man, that's phenomenal. I love that. I love those environments when it was like the odds are stacked against you. It's like, what do we have to lose? I
Yeah,
always love to tell my kids now when I was coaching, it's like if we see some dude on the mound throwing 98 or 100, like everybody expects you to strike out. So if you strike out, nobody cares. But,
yeah.
this is the
Go
most
out there
freeing
expecting
playing
to hit though.
experience. Yeah, you got the most freeing experience in the world right now, and you should be as confident as possible because you
Oh
can
yeah,
just go out there and go win. You got it.
yep,
Oh man,
yeah,
that's phenomenal. And so when you were kind of leading up to that New Mexico Bowl, did you kind of know at that time that that was going to be it for your football career, or how was your mindset, looking at that
yeah.
sunset time period of your career?
Yeah, so I knew pretty much going into it that was going to be my last game. And I don't think I thought a whole lot about it because it was a good seamless transition for me. Um, I I didn't even do my pro day. Sometimes I'm like, man, I should have done it just for the experience, but I knew at that time I had an internship to go intern at Nebraska with their football team in the weight room. So that's kind of what I had my eyes
That's
set on.
phenomenal. When did you know you had that internship?
It was probably early to mid fall of my senior year, and I kind of waited too long, and I kind of put all my eggs in one basket. Where we had one of the athletic trainers was the athletic trainer at Nebraska at the time, So that was kind of my only shot because I kind of drug my feet on trying to find other facilities. I just put all my eggs in that basket and it worked out. So it was probably
Mhm.
about halfway through my senior season.
Okay.
Found out I was going there. And at the end of the day, like it just I could put like I didn't have enough film to even get looked at by anybody to make like a pro day worth it. Like
Mhm.
in at the end of the day, it's like, well, I didn't have any film because I wasn't an every down player. Like I was an average D1 football player. Like I was a third down guy, I was a short yardage guy, I was a special teams guy. So I knew like my days were probably done unless I wanted to go play overseas or arena or something like that, which I didn't. Like I was okay and I was at peace with it. And maybe because I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it, it just made it easy. Like
Yeah.
if you don't know it's your last game, there's no sadness with it. And also to
Mhm.
finish my college football career the way we did was hard to be upset.
Oh
No,
man,
no.
absolutely. Absolutely. So did you with that how did you kind of navigate that with Nebraska? Were you kind of proactively like searching for internships through the summer? How did that kind of come about? I know you said you drug your feet a little bit, right? And then
Yeah.
but you got that opportunity. But how did you kind of initiate the idea of, hey, I want to go out and find an opportunity like this?
Yeah. Well, I had to do it for my major to finish. Your last semester is like a 600-hour internship
Okay.
for health and exercise science, CSU. So I had to do it. And a lot of them, they're set up, it's like corporate wellness, things like that. And I knew that wasn't for me. I wanted to be somewhere in the athletic realm or the athletic performance realm. So I
Mhm.
looked at a couple like private sector facilities, but then when I had that opportunity and knew that guy at Nebraska, I kind of just went all in on that. And then we finished that New Mexico Bowl, and I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, I moved to Lincoln and started my internship there. And I was there for
Dang.
January through like early May. So it was that whole semester. Where as an intern in the weight room, you don't do a whole lot of coaching. And there's NCAA rules on it too. As like as an intern, you're setting up bars, you're breaking down bars, you're spotting guys. There's not a whole lot of coaching. It's just learning and then kind of doing grunt work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. It's good. You got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome, man. So how was it when you stepped into that side and kind of being on the other end of the table? I mean, I know you were learning a lot and you're not doing a lot of the coaching, right? But how was it going from, being the player, getting after it to now you kind of are starting to turn around to the other side of the table? How was it
Yeah.
that spring?
It was awesome because I got to see a lot of the back end of like as a player, you don't see a lot of the back end stuff that's going on just to get ready for training, to get ready for practice, and kind of that like administrative work. I got to see all of that. A little glimpse of
Dang.
it at Nebraska when I went back to CSU because after I was there, I started as a grad assistant back at CSU in June. So it's like
Okay.
I moved back from Lincoln, had about 2 weeks, and then I started as a GA pretty much right away. And I was thrown right into like summer workouts, which was good because I knew it. It was the same coaching staff. I was able to GA under the guy who I had played and trained under. So it was a pretty seamless transition in that regard. Like I knew the program, I knew what to do as far as coaching, but it was a transition going from being a lot of the guys' teammate to now their coach. So that there was like some of the guys like it went very well. Some of the guys it didn't go so well. There was some friction in it to where it's like, hey, you used to be one of us. Now I got to listen to you. So it was hard, but I got a hard time from some of the guys. They're like, I'm out there with a whistle making them run, and they're yelling, "You used to be one of us," and all that. And like those are the guys who like it was just fun and games, but it was definitely a transition going to that side of it.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. It's amazing the perspective you gain when you go to the coaching side of things, right?
Oh yeah,
Just like you said, all amount, like the appreciation you have for what those
yeah,
individuals were doing for you and how much, you just show up, get your workout in, and then you leave, right? But how
yeah,
much outside of that there is actually going
yep.
on to put into that, right?
Yeah, I remember one guy, he was like did a lot of the administrative work. And as a player, you just see the things that like he might have dropped the ball on. And then you go in as a coach and you're like, man, this guy does so much. He's doing the job of three. No wonder he's gonna drop the ball. But he's also the guy that's gonna like, if something's messed up, he's like, yeah, I'll take that. And I remember him saying one day, he's like, Joe, I've had my ass chewed by head coaches for 20 years. One more is not going to hurt me. I'll take the fall
I'm
for
built.
somebody else gladly.
I'm built for it.
Yeah.
Oh
What did
man, yeah.
you What did you learn as a GA that you wish you knew as a player?
Um, I think like and it goes back to like the relationship side of it is like there's the X's and O's to training and coaching, but you can't get somebody to listen to you or do what you want them to do unless you have a relationship with them. And for some people that's pretty easy. The relationship comes easy and it comes quick. For some, you got to work at it. Like
Or-
it's hard. So there's like a people side to it. It's not just X's and O's, especially in the weight room. Like in a college weight room, they always say you're with your strength coach more than anybody else because you see them year round. So there's
Yep.
the relationship
Yep.
side to it. And I still have relationships now of um, like guys who I played with and guys who I coached, and now we're coaches in the Northern Colorado area. So
Sure.
it's pretty awesome to see like there's been different phases to that all throughout the time from starting 15 years ago or more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, dang, that's awesome, man. And that's relationships mean everything. And that's it's a powerful thing. But I mean, like we talked on earlier, it's those intangibles, right? Those things that outside the field or outside the X's and O's that carry the most
Yeah.
weight. And so that's pretty cool. So how long did you GA for? How did you did you want to stay in that world? Did you know you wanted to get out of that world? How was your your process through the GA experience?
Yeah, so I GA'd for 2 years and then I was like a paid assistant for 1 year, which is it's like you're paid hourly, no salary, no benefits, any of that. And just based on how like they had the fiscal budget, I was getting paid 20, working 60.
Oh
So if
yeah.
I wanted to stay, I would have loved to stay. But at that time, my now wife and we were engaged looking at getting married, and I needed a more money. I needed more of a paycheck so I could start my young family.
Yeah.
So it was a hard transition to make. I didn't want to make it, but it was something I needed to do because they said, "Hey, we'd love to have you, but we just can't do a salary position for you right now."
Yeah.
I made the hard decision to leave, and that's when I kind of got into the private sector. Like when I started it, even at Nebraska, I thought I was going to spend my career in college athletics, specifically college football. But
Mhm.
that only lasted coaching 3 years. And now I've been out in the private sector for like 10 or 12 now. But so that's kind of how that transitioned. And then I went straight from there. And I was kind of just honestly, I was looking at a career change because there wasn't anything out there. And so I just went to I was looking for a gym after I had left CSU and ended up just looking at a gym to go work out. And then I ended up coaching there, was there for about 2.5 years, and then ended up going to Pursuit. And same thing, like at that place, I always tell this story of like it wasn't a good situation, the previous private sector facility I was at.
Mhm.
Like the owner had his own personal problems, so I stepped away from there and I was looking at totally leaving the industry. And I remember like my wife saved my career because I was on my way to meet with I had met with him once, specifically Zach. I had met with Zach once at Pursuit and then was going back to like tell him, hey, I want to take the job and I want to start the athletic performance program there. And I pulled over on my way to Pursuit and I had turned around and called my wife and I was like, hey, I think maybe I should try something else. And she kind of talked me down off the ledge and said, let's just go try it, see what happens. If you get 3 to 6 months down the road, then you can look at something else there. So I tell that story all the time. Like my wife's amazing. She saved my career because I almost left it. I had turned the car around. So it was
Yeah,
pretty
dang.
cool. And here we are 6.5 years later.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Why'd you turn around? Well, like we
I just had a bad taste in my mouth from like that previous
yeah.
facility. Just like
Yes.
the owner just had a bad taste in my mouth for like, man, is this what everything in the private sector is like? Am I going to have to
Right.
deal with this all the time? And I was just like, for lack of a better term, maybe just angry
Yeah.
and bitter and just emotional at the time.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was applying for a UPS, everything. Like I was just
Yeah,
looking.
that's what I was gonna say. Did you have a plan? Did you have anything else you wanted to try? Or are
Oh,
you
I was
actively
applying
looking for it?
everywhere. I had zero plan. I had zero plan, and maybe that's why my wife talked me into it. She's like, this is the only thing you got. So you better turn that program and
Yeah.
go.
Baby, I need you to
Uh,
come through on this one. I need
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. But I
yeah,
mean, at
man.
that time, she was working in like restaurant management. She was our primary moneymaker. So
Yeah,
it was a hard time. But I
truly.
guess
Yeah.
at that time she wasn't. She was staying at home. When I was at that other facility, she had stopped working. So I was our only moneymaker at that time.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Dang.
Fun,
That's
fun
a
times. I'm sure those are
Yep.
some fun conversations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yep.
That's crazy. So what, I mean, how now you've been in it a while, but what's kind of the navigating the differences between the team side, the college side versus the private side? I mean, what's kind of the biggest similarities, the biggest differences that you see in just both those spaces?
Yeah, biggest similarities is like you're training athletes. Like athletes are athletes. The same principles you use with college athletes, you can use the same principles with middle school athletes. Like I think a lot of the times you see, especially on social media, like the fancy stuff or the cool looking stuff, it's like the basics work. Good training is good training. So at the end of the day, the training really doesn't change a whole lot. I think it's the dynamics of again, like the relationships side of it is you go into like a college weight room and there's some recruiting aspect, but it's like kids just show up. Great athletes show up on your doorstep and it's pretty much, hey, you need to get them better and keep them
Yeah.
healthy throughout their 4 to 5 years. Whereas we're getting youth athletes and like we're able to see a part and be a part of their development from some of them 10 years on or 10 years old and on. Some of them we don't see them till they're like freshmen in high school, but we get to see that transition of going from like a youth to a adolescent to a high level athlete.
Oh
So
yeah, that's
that's
awesome.
about it.
Is there a difference in motivation for the athletes that you're training? Is
Um, I think for us, yeah, like the motivation in college, there's some kids who just like they're phenomenal athletes, but they don't love to train.
Yeah.
Whereas and so they kind of just get through that process. Whereas with like most, I'll say 90% of our kids, especially the kids that do our main program, like at the end of like we're a business, they pay to be there. And mom and dad aren't going to want to pay for it if the kid isn't enjoying it and getting results out of it. Like in
Yes.
college, they don't care if you don't like to train. You train or you're getting punished anyways. So this is like there's a relationship side to it, and all of our kids they're working towards that goal. Like most of our kids, a high percentage of them want to go play college sports. Whereas in college, it's kind of like, all right, you didn't make it, but you achieved the goal. I wanted to play D1 sports. I made it. I'm here. I made it. Where all our kids, they're working towards that. So they really haven't earned anything yet. They're in the process of it. So I think that's where we get some phenomenal athletes, some phenomenal kids. I think like you hear a lot, like kids are soft, kids don't get it. Like not the kids I see. Like these kids are I'm humbled daily by one, how strong and how fast and athletic kids are these days. And then two, like the challenges they have to overcome. Like I didn't have those challenges in high school of a lot of it social media and all these things going on. I didn't have to deal with that. So kids are still like they're resilient. They have challenges that I didn't have, or I don't think any of the three of us had. So,
Yeah, no,
we get to walk with them through that.
it was
Yeah.
different. It was different
Yeah,
without the
I mean,
social medias.
there's Instagram pages dedicated to like belittling kids at the other school. Like each school
Oh,
has their
wow.
own, like not belittling, I shouldn't say, but like they have like their barstool pages, and all it is like talking smack on other kids, and it'll get personal. It's crazy.
Wow.
Dang.
Like man, I didn't have to deal with that in high school. Like I knew the kids at the other school didn't like me, but it wasn't on social media. So it
Yeah.
was, and you get
The
to high
world.
school and you're like, man, this kid would have been my best friend. I didn't like him either, but if we would have went to the same school, we'd have been best friends. So it's like the kids are all the same, but they
Yeah.
deal with things we didn't have to deal with. So we get to walk through that a little bit with them and kind of have a relationship with them. Because some of these kids, like I said, I've trained some of the kids I have there, sophomores, juniors in school, and I've been training them for 6 years already. So I've
Yeah.
seen them mature and grow up, which is
Oh man,
pretty.
absolutely. That's awesome. And it's so, I mean, we know this how impactful those kind of people can be in your life, right? For better or for
Yeah.
worse, right? But just how impactful and influential those individuals are. So when you were at your previous facility versus now, I mean, were you always doing sports performance stuff? How did you kind of get in where you and build that
Yeah,
out with Pursuit? How did you kind of build out who you guys are now or who
yeah.
your you part is now and what you guys do now?
Yeah, I kind of headed up our sports performance program, but then I also, because I was like the head coach, I also did a lot on like the Gen Pop, like general population, the adult side, like adult fitness
Okay.
side. So that was when I came to Pursuit, it was pretty much just like, hey, there was no sports performance program at all. There had been a couple tries in the past, and so it was kind of just a blank slate. And they said, make it what you want, grow it how you want, just they wanted to have a performance program and said, "Hey, here's your blank sheet. Go get it."
Yeah, here's the keys. Take it for a ride. Go.
Kind of,
That's
yeah.
awesome, man.
Yep.
Did you have a very clear vision when you started with what you wanted to look like?
Not necessarily. I think I somewhat I did, but some of it was kind of build as you go. Like I didn't know the challenges that were going to come up, just as far as like from a business building a business side. I didn't know what challenges were going to come up and the things I was going to have to deal with. But it was kind of learn as you go and build as you go. I think like anybody who's trying to build something big will say like you have a plan and then you have to pivot a little bit on it, almost each step.
We hear that. We understand that.
Yep.
Very relatable. Very
Yep.
Yes,
relatable.
adaptability.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like
Yes.
have your what I forget the actual saying, but like be firm with your goals, but flexible with your avenues or something like that.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yep.
That makes sense. And I mean, so in my observation, watching the kids train, people are they're having a great time, right? And
Hmm.
but they're also working hard. And so you've been able to create an environment where, I mean, there's kids as young as 10, you're saying. It looks
Hmm.
like 10, not looks like 10 up through high school. I know yesterday you were training a young lady. Did she already go to Arizona? The soft,
She's a junior right now, but
okay.
she's yeah committed to go there. Yeah.
She's on her way. So you're training all the different levels, and some people are looking to go to college, some maybe to get their confidence up, right?
Hmm.
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
no. What is your goal? Obviously, your goal is what their parents and what the kids' goals are too. But what are your goals for the athletes that you work with, or some of your goals?
Yeah. I think the biggest one is like I want kids to fall in love with training.
Yeah,
Falling in
heck yeah,
love with like for lack of a better term like fall in love with the process. I know that's cliche, but I want them to fall in love with training because
yeah,
that's something they're going to have the rest of their life. Like the sports are going to go for everybody. I know like
yeah,
I we all speak from experience. There's going to come a day where those are done, but your
yeah,
ability to train and do fun things is never going to end or doesn't have to end. So I think that's a big thing is because that there comes so much confidence with that of you get a kid and it's like the kid's been training for 2 weeks and the parent is like, oh, we can already see a difference. And it's like, well, there's not really a physiological difference. It's just
yeah.
probably there's a mental difference.
Mental, yeah,
Yeah, there's a confidence knowing like I'm doing these things and
yeah,
I know that everybody else isn't, or I know these guys
no
people
doubt.
I'm playing against aren't. So there's not like from an actual like training progress, it takes time, but it can
Sure,
be a week or two that like they see a big difference and just
no
this
doubt.
how they feel and how they walk through the school every day. And I think that's and specifically with like I think like female athletes. Like normally we get a male athlete come in and you can tell like they're a little more confident just because it
Yeah,
seems like it's a little more used to it. And our
sure,
program's probably 50% male, 50% female. The girls come in and they're a little more timid. But our goal
sure.
is to get them to fall in love with training because you get them to fall in love with training and you create some savage female athletes. Like
Yeah,
it's crazy because they love getting faster and getting more explosive and being strong. Like
yeah.
there's it's my favorite thing to do of like a girl to go grab dumbbells and she grabs heavier dumbbells than the guy and the guy goes to like, "Oh shoot, I better grab heavier." And I'm like, "No, no, no, that's too heavy for you."
Get your weight
You
up.
humble them a little bit, but it's cool to see like just that the progression and kids fall in love with that, fall in love with training because the
Love that.
results will come. If they're consistent, it's
Yeah,
inevitable they'll get better and results will come. But to get them to be consistent, you got to get them to enjoy it and love it
yeah,
because they're not going to come do something they don't want to do.
no doubt. No doubt. That's good, man.
Yeah, they definitely aren't. That's I try and get my kids to do things every day that they fight me on.
Yeah.
But that's
And then, like I said, we are a business. So the parents are paying for it. So if the kid walks out every day and they look miserable and they didn't have fun, the parents
Yep.
aren't going to want to send the kid's not going to want to come back. The parents aren't going to want to send them back. So we like having and I think sometimes you think like you're training, oh, it's going to suck. Well, it's going to be hard, but that doesn't mean it's going to suck.
Right.
Like you can there's a process to it.
You do I
yeah,
mean, your team has created a phenomenal environment because I watch, you see me there watching, like I'm
Yeah.
watching everybody, right? And you've created the environment that you're talking about where kids want to go there. My daughter wants to go there. Like she is eager to get there and get in that environment, right? And so
Mhm.
you've done a really great job. Um,
Well, it's not just me. It started out, it was just me for a few years, but I've got like great coaches now. And it's like you can always teach coaches the process and how to train. And that's all like book knowledge, but you can't teach
yeah,
the intangibles of like, can you communicate with kids? Can you have a relationship with kids and be able to bring them along and get them to fall in love with training? Like, not everybody can do that. Everybody
right.
can learn the X's and O's, but it's like, can you execute and get kids to buy in on it? So that's what
Absolutely.
I've got great coaches that I coach. I don't coach as much now as I used to. I love coaching and I don't want to ever stop coaching, but I've also got great coaches to put out there who um, they're just as good at coaches as me.
You do.
yeah,
You really
that's
do.
that's
I want to take a step back and give you an opportunity because we know what pursuit is, and everybody in Northern Colorado and probably Colorado knows. But nationally, can you talk about pursuit, like the gym, the
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah,
give,
so the gym is Pursuit Training and Performance Center. We've got everything from 24-hour access. We have on-staff physical therapists. We have on-staff registered dietitian, and then we've got a coaching team of more than 20 coaches. We've got like everything like open gym, adult classes. We've got a recovery studio. We've got a cafe upstairs, and then we've got like full weight room with machines and dumbbells and racks and basketball courts. And then I kind of live and breathe over on the athletic performance side. So out of those 20 plus coaches, there's myself and about 10 more who we do like our main performance training, which is I call it very much speed driven athlete training. So the metrics we're always testing and tracking is sprints, jumps, like the performance metrics. And then we do a bunch of team training and private training with athletes as well. So those are our main groups, teams, private training, which most of our athletes do like our main year-round group program. But like in those groups, it's speed, agility, jumping ability, rotational power, and then strength and mobility along with it. But
and your gym is huge. It's super impressive, just visually super impressive. Do you know the square footage off the top of your head? I mean,
it's like 35,000 square feet. And so that's with the basketball courts, with the mezzanine offices and everything too. Yep.
it's impressive. Impressive.
Thank you. Like I said, it's a feat. Like it's fun being in a gym, but like gym business is awesome. But at the end of the day, it's still a business. You got to keep going. But
No doubt.
it's a lot of fun. It's a pretty sweet place to walk into work every day.
No doubt.
oh
You
man,
are.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, man, is there so when you're training? Sorry, now I'm jumping into this because now I've been thinking about this. So when you're between these coaches, you're talking about getting good people, right? And these kids that there's this buy-in, they want to be there, all that stuff. Are there some similar traits or similar characteristics or similar things that you see amongst those individuals? Again, kind of from that intangible perspective, that's not just, we're forced to be here. Do you see any similar traits or personality things amongst these athletes that do really flourish in this environment, or the coaches that flourish in this
Yeah.
environment?
As far as coaches, it's just like, can you communicate effectively and can you talk and have a relationship with people? It's people skills. Like, do you have people skills and the ability to establish and keep a relationship? And then from athletes, the successful ones are always the ones who know that like consistency wins over time. You're not going to be able to just come in 2 or 3 months out of the year. You've got to be able to buy into the process of training year round. Because I think it's like it used to be not every athlete trained. They just played their sport and then they went to their next sport. But now it's like most athletes are doing some kind of training part of the year. But now it's the athletes who are consistent year round that we see like the highest percentage go on to play at the next level, who they make it a priority in season or when they're busy with club season to still come in, even if it's 1 or 2 days a week and train. So it's just those ones who they understand the process and they're committed to the process of training over time and know that that's a part of it.
Dang, yeah,
Love that.
that's awesome. It's those are, I mean, those are great things for people to hear, right? And especially for a lot of these next generation of athletes coming out into the business world, understanding the skill sets that they've learned, understanding that again, we talk to so many people that are so worried about their resumes or how they tell their story. But like you said, the people skills, the step by step,
Mhm.
right? One foot in front of the other, the consistency, the discipline, the time management, all of those things are phenomenal traits. And so, with all that being said, I know we're about out of time here, but we appreciate it you taking the time to jump on with us here today. And we love learning about Pursuit. Everybody should go check that place out. It is phenomenal. Is there, an ideal clientele that you're kind of looking for that gym?
Um, Not because we cater to everybody. I mean, we cater to, like I said, with us and athletic performance, high level athletes, but then we also have adults who are still seeking like whether they're competitive like marathon racers or triathletes or they just want to look better and feel better. We cater to all of it. People who are coming out of major surgeries, like we have a great physical therapy team that can help cater to them. So it's like we're built for everybody. I mean, we've got my whole family is able to go in there. I've got 5 kids, so we don't have them for the youngest, but like my 11-year-old is in there consistently and is able to do our group program and have a lot of fun in it. So I mean, we've got something for everybody.
Man, that's phenomenal. It's a great thing to have in your life, right? Because it's not only, look better and feel better, but just how much more confident and the mental side of
Oh yeah.
mental health issues, right? Just how much that kind of stuff has an impact on you. So again, man, we appreciate it. Everybody can check out Pursuit. That's an awesome gym. We'll get some features out about it. But again, man, we appreciate you taking the time to jump on with us, and it's been awesome to hear your story and learn a little bit more about you.
Thank you guys. Thanks. It was a lot of fun.
We appreciate you, Joe.